Oh, right, yeah, I should have mentioned contract. Sorry, I was saving contract to the end, and then I looked, and I realized I was hogging a lot of time. And the reason I left contracts to the end, I should have said this. The reason I left contracts to the end is a book could be contracted at various stages. There are certain things to keep in mind about what a contract constitutes in terms of a publisher's obligation. At McGill Queen's, the preferred thing to do is to contract after peer review, and sometimes contract after this internal review process that determines the financial viability of the book. And the reason for that is that, now, you can also get an advanced contract. Some presses give out advanced contracts. We occasionally give out advanced contracts, but what an advanced contract constitutes is not a guarantee of publication. An advanced contract is always subject to peer review and the review and the approval of the publications review committee.
Kind of often a vaguely worded section about financial ability to publish.
And often a vaguely worded section about financial viability. So ultimately, those things are built in there because that determination can only be made after these various levels of review and approval based on that review. Now, people ask for advanced contracts and ask for contracts as early as possible in the process for very good reasons. And those reasons have to do with tenure and promotion, jobs, etc. What a publisher is, and what your editor is always willing to do in lieu of an advanced contract, and frankly, the tenure and review committees that are looking at this stuff, if they don't realize at this point that a contract does not constitute a guarantee of publication, and a contract is in essence a very official looking document that is a strong expression of interest in your work, they're not understanding the process properly. So what we will give you is a strongly worded expression of interest in your work, and often that is very, I find often that is very convincing. It allows an editor and a publisher to speak to particular qualities of the work, particular ways we expect this to impact the sort of scholarly landscape, particularly readership. In essence, we can we can talk more directly about your book and its value, and we're always willing to provide those types of letters at critically important times, but there may be some reticence to provide a contract, and that's just because that contract is conditional and is better suited to doing it after those conditions have been fulfilled. The other thing you should keep in mind with the contract, and some people don't always realize this, is that the contract is binding you to us and not us to you. So for instance, if one of the outcomes of your peer review process or some other level of approval is that, frankly, you would rather take this book to another publisher, or you think it would be better suited to another publisher, or whatever, the contract is in essence your promise or your guarantee to publish that book with this publisher. So, it doesn't always give you that degree of mobility. Now, that said, it's very important, this right of first refusal, and you can't be having your book peer reviewed by numerous publishers at the same time and so forth. That's not a way to try and get people to vie for your work. You have to, at a certain point, make a decision about which publisher you're going to go with. But all of that is to say that contract can happen at various times, and if it happens at certain times, it's subject to certain conditions.
Certainly, in terms of conditional contracts, the importance of the research that Jonathan was talking about earlier becomes very clear, that you really understand the press that you're dealing with, that you have confidence that it's a good match for you with the press as a whole, with the editors that you're going to be working with, with their process, that you have a clear understanding of that in relation to what your other options are before entering into that contract. So.